That Christmas, my sister handed me a gift wrapped in gold paper and called it something I really needed. Everyone was already watching. I opened it slowly. A bright yellow book stared back at me, How to Be Less Cheap. There was a beat of silence. Then the room broke into laughter. My dad slapped the couch like it was the funniest thing he'd heard all year. My cousins leaned into each other, grinning. Even Uncle Steve shook his head, amused. I smiled. Not because it was funny, because I'd learned a long time ago that smiling was easier than reacting when Alyssa decided to turn me into her punchline. Don't forget the envelope, she added, practically glowing. I opened it. At first glance it looked official. Then I saw it clearly, a loan application. Her name already filled in. Her details completed. A pink sticky note pointed to one line at the bottom. Co-signer. Underlined. I looked at the paper. Then at her. She was still smiling. So I tore it. Straight down the middle. So, cling. And dropped the pieces back onto her lap like they were just part of the wrapping. The laughter died instantly. My mom froze mid-pour, cider suspended in the air. Someone stopped chewing. My dad stood up like I'd just committed the crime of the century. Jesus, Rachel, he snapped. Alyssa's face shifted. Confusion first, then anger, then something sharper. She hadn't expected resistance. She had expected a scene she could control. I didn't give her one. I just stood, walked into the kitchen and poured myself a glass of wine. My hands were steady. She followed a minute later. You're being dramatic, she hissed, her voice dropping now that we were out of earshot. I need that loan. I'm trying to start over. I said nothing. I was going to pay you back, she added quickly. Then, sharper, I just figured since you don't have kids, you could actually be useful for once. That landed exactly where she wanted it to. But I still didn't answer. Before I could, my mom spoke. She'd been standing just behind the fridge door listening. Rachel doesn't owe you anything, she said, stepping forward. Her voice wasn't loud, but it cut clean. And maybe next year you should focus on fixing your life instead of humiliating your sister. Alyssa blinked like she'd been slapped. For once, she didn't have a comeback. She grabbed her coat, her keys, and left. No performance. No goodbye. Just the door closing behind her. The house stayed quiet for a moment too long. Then everything resumed, too quickly, too carefully. Pie was served. Gifts were opened. Conversations restarted like nothing had happened. But the air had changed. My dad tried to smooth it over, mumbling something about stress, about how Alyssa didn't mean it like that. I didn't argue. I didn't need to. Because for the first time I hadn't played along. I hadn't laughed. I hadn't absorbed the hit just to keep the peace. I had drawn a line and let it stay there. And no matter how much they pretended the night was normal again, everyone in that room knew something had shifted for good. She's under pressure. She didn't mean anything by it. That's what my dad said, like this was all just stress talking. But I knew better. This was never about a loan. It was about control. Alyssa pushed because she expected me to bend, like I always had. This time I didn't. And that's when everything started to shift. 2 days after Christmas, my dad texted. Alyssa says you humiliated her. Just apologize and make peace. Not are you okay? Not what happened. Just fix it. I stared at the message, then replied. She wrapped a loan application as a gift. No response. I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. The calls started a few days later. 3 different banks in 4 days. Each one asking if I knew I'd been listed as a reference. One even asked for income verification. That's when it clicked. I asked where the application came from. Alyssa Monroe, they said. She had used my information without asking, without telling me. I froze my credit the same day and filed a fraud alert. Then I sent her one message. Don't ever use my name again. No reply. Not even a denial. Instead she went public. 3 days later she posted a photo of her and my dad, cropped just right to look like some perfect father-daughter moment. Caption. Some people forget the meaning of family. Glad I still have mine. And right on cue the comments rolled in. You're the strong one. Keep shining. Haters gonna hate. Exactly what she wanted. I didn't respond. I knew it was bait. But it didn't stop there. The next week she moved in with my mom, just for a few days while she figured things out. A few days turned into trash bags unpacked across the guest room, beauty products covering the bathroom, empty coffee cups left everywhere. She slept until noon. played TikToks at full volume, called it brainstorming. 5 days in, my mom called me. She sounded exhausted. She doesn't do anything, she said. She says she's working on a pitch deck. For what? I asked. Silence. I told her the truth. This is Alyssa. It's always been Alyssa. You either set boundaries, or you get run over. Meanwhile, my dad kept pushing. You're being cold, he said. If you had just co-signed, none of this would have happened. I reminded him of the past 5 years. Car repairs, rent, credit cards, thousands of dollars. When did she ever pay any of it back? He didn't answer. Then Alyssa crossed a new line. She messaged my ex, the one who cheated on me, and told him I wasn't doing well, that I'd isolated myself, that maybe he should check in. He sent me screenshots. She wasn't even trying to hide it. She wanted to make me look unstable. Like I was the problem. It backfired. I blocked her everywhere. Phone, social media, email. My mom begged me not to, said it would make things worse. I told her the truth. It's not my job to make things easier anymore. Eventually, even my mom hit her limit. 2 weeks in, she gave Alyssa an ultimatum. Get a job or move out. Alyssa did what she always does. She posted again, this time from my mom's kitchen, holding a glass of wine she didn't buy. Caption: some people only love you when you need nothing from them. Watch how fast they turn when you stop playing weak. She was unraveling. But in her mind, she was still the victim. Still in control. She wasn't. It started with a job opportunity. My mom, desperate for peace, called in a favor. Set up an interview at a small accounting firm. Front desk role. Stable. Simple. A real step forward. Alyssa acted grateful. For the first time in weeks, she played along. She even went through the motions. Sat at the table, clicking around on a resume that looked like it had been thrown together on Canva at 2 a.m. with zero effort. That morning, she left the house in heels and a blazer, like she was heading somewhere important. 3 hours later, she came back with a shopping bag and a half-eaten pretzel. My mom asked how the interview went. Alyssa shrugged. I canceled. It felt off. The energy wasn't right. Then she disappeared into the guest room and posted a selfie. Protect your peace even if they call it laziness. That night, my mom locked the wine cabinet and hid her purse. The next day, my dad called again. I'm giving Alyssa a little help, he said. You've made your point, but I'm not going to watch her fall apart. He didn't ask how I was. Didn't pause. Just said it and hung up. It was never about the money. It was about the pattern. Everyone rushing to save the person who lit the fire in the first place. And Alyssa wasn't done. A week later, I got an email from HR. Someone had filed an anonymous complaint accusing me of freelancing for a competitor, using company systems to do it. They attached screenshots. Real ones. Old mock-ups from a logistics redesign project I'd worked on the year before. Files I had shared with Alyssa. Back when she said she wanted to learn UX. Back when I thought helping her was safe. She had saved them. Waited. Then used them. I spent 48 hours pulling timestamps, Slack threads, archived folders, proving every file was mine, that nothing had been misused. Sure cleared me. But they still gave me that careful warning. Be more mindful about who you trust with company materials. That's when it clicked. This wasn't chaos. This was retaliation. I texted her once. You really want to start this war? Fine. No response. But I knew she saw it. That same week, 2 of my friends reached out. Alyssa had messaged them, different versions of the same story. To one, she said she was worried about me, that I'd become paranoid and was pushing people away. To another, she suggested they check on me for safety. She was building something. A narrative. Carefully positioning herself as concerned, while quietly painting me as unstable. I locked everything down after that. Passwords, 2-factor authentication, shared drives, old accounts. Alyssa had always been messy, impulsive. This wasn't that. This was deliberate. Meanwhile, my mom hit her breaking point. When she called me, she didn't even try to hide it. She used my credit card, she said. 3 times in one day. One of them was just bubble tea. My mom had asked her to help with groceries. Alyssa told her to respect her healing process. That was it. I told my mom not to threaten her, actually do it. And she did. Quietly. She packed everything, clothes, makeup, ring lights, even those untouched self-help books, into contractor bags and left them in the garage. Then she told Alyssa to leave. Alyssa didn't go quietly. He cried, screamed, called my mom abusive. Filmed herself while doing it, talking about being discarded, like she wasn't the one burning every bridge in sight. Then she called my dad. He showed up, picked her up, and left without saying a word to my mom. That night, Alyssa posted again. Passenger seat. Half her face in shadow. Caption. Sometimes all you have is yourself, and sometimes that's still too much for them. Then silence. A full week. No posts. No messages. Nothing. I almost believed it was over. Then I got a text. Congratulations. You got what you wanted. No punctuation. No emotion. Just venom. I stared at it for a long time, then deleted it. Because she still didn't understand. I didn't want her to lose. I just didn't want her taking me down with her. The quiet that followed felt wrong. Too clean. Too empty. 3 weeks passed without a single move. No subtweets, no cryptic quotes, nothing. It felt like the calm before something worse. And it was. It started with my cousin Morgan's wedding. Morgan's the kind of person who tries to keep everyone together no matter what. She'd invited both of us months ago, back when things were just tense, not completely broken. I never RSVP'd. Didn't even open the invitation. I wasn't going to sit in a room pretending everything was fine. 3 days before the wedding, Morgan texted me. Can't wait to see you this weekend. So happy you two are back on good terms. I stared at the message, confused. Then another text came in, this time from my cousin Liv. It was a screen recording. Alyssa had posted a fake iMessage conversation. An entire thread, crafted message by message, where I supposedly apologized, said I missed her, said I wanted to make peace at the wedding. She even wrote her own responses, forgiving me. Talking about healing. She copied my tone. My punctuation. Even my old contact name. Looked real. And people believed it. Morgan believed it. That's why she thought I was coming. That's why everyone suddenly thought we were fixing things. I called Morgan and explained everything. To her credit, she handled it well, just confused, shaken. I don't get it, she kept saying. Why would she do that? I did. Because Alyssa doesn't just want to win. She wants to control the story, even if she has to fake the scoreboard to do it. I told Morgan I wouldn't be coming. He understood. Alyssa, of course, did the opposite. She showed up late, made an entrance, and wore white. Not soft ivory or something subtle. Bright, blinding, rhinestone-covered white. Full length with a slit cut nearly to her hip. She didn't just attend the wedding. She staged herself inside it. She floated through the ceremony like she was the bride, hugging people she hadn't spoken to in years, inserting herself into photos, pulling Morgan aside for a picture and posting it with the caption. When forgiveness leads, families heal. Proud to stand by you today. Morgan looked uncomfortable in the photo. You could see it if you looked closely. Later that night she texted me. She told me you're going through a lot and didn't want to ruin your progress. Made my stomach turn. Alyssa wasn't just lying anymore. She was rewriting reality and presenting it like truth. And she still wasn't done. 2 days later, I got a DM from someone I hadn't spoken to since my first job out of college. He sent me a screenshot. Alyssa had emailed him. From her real account. She said she was gathering testimonials for a legal matter involving me and asked if he had any examples of me being emotionally unstable at work. Not a joke. Not subtle. Documented. Deliberate. That was it. I contacted a lawyer the same day. We drafted a formal cease and desist and sent it certified. Signature required. She received it. I know because 3 hours after delivery confirmation, every single one of her accounts went dark. No posts. No stories. Nothing. Gone. At first I thought it worked. That maybe, finally, she understood there were consequences. But she didn't disappear. She just went quiet. Underground. A few days later my dad called. Furious. Did you seriously threaten her with a lawyer over a misunderstanding? I asked if he wanted to see the screenshots. He didn't. You're going too far, he said. This is still your sister. She's not acting like one, I replied. That didn't go over well. He called me cold. Vengeful. Ungrateful. Ungrateful. I almost laughed. For what? Being the one who held everything together while she burned through every safety net? He hung up. After that, things went quiet again. But it wasn't peaceful. Felt like tension stretched too tight, like something was about to snap. Then Morgan called. Crying. Alyssa had reached out to her, asking for a place to stay. Said she'd lost her housing. Said our dad wasn't helping anymore. Said she just needed a week. Morgan said no. That's when I knew. Alyssa had run out of places to land. My mom was done. I was gone. And now even Morgan, the one person who never picked sides, had closed the door. Every bridge was burned. The next thing I saw was the GoFundMe. Someone dropped the link in a group chat with, "Is this real?" It was. Title, "Starting Over After Family Abuse." Her photo looked carefully chosen, pale, wide-eyed, like she'd just been crying. Maybe she had. The description read like a script. Kicked out with nothing. Betrayed. Surviving against the odds. And there I was, right in the middle of it. Rachel refused to help. She watched me drown and walked away. She named me. Directly. People donated. Not huge amounts, but enough. Enough for a few nights, a few meals. Enough to keep the story going. The comments were exactly what you'd expect. Stay strong. Family can be toxic. You deserve better. She replied to nearly all of them. Posted thank you videos from different places. A Starbucks bathroom, a bus stop, some hallway with peeling paint. Each clip added another layer to the narrative. Another version of the same lie. I didn't respond. Didn't report it. Didn't defend myself. Didn't correct anything. I just watched. Because at that point it wasn't about proving her wrong. It was about not getting pulled into the performance. Eventually she disappeared again. A week passed. Then during a Zoom meeting my phone rang. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Later I listened to the voicemail. It was a caseworker from a housing program. She said Alyssa had listed me as her emergency contact. That she was applying for job assistance and needed someone to vouch for her. I didn't hesitate. I called back and said, "No. I won't be part of that. I'm not involved in her situation anymore." There was a pause on the line. Then quietly, "Understood." And she hung up. For the first time I didn't feel guilty. Not numb. Not torn. Just steady. Like I'd finally stopped letting her life spill into mine. That same night I got an email from my dad. Subject line, "Family dinner. Let's talk." No message. No explanation. Just a time and a date. I almost deleted it. Then my mom called. "I'm going," she said, already tired. "If I don't, he'll say I'm the one tearing the family apart." So I agreed. But only to listen. Sunday night we showed up. Everything was staged. Candles lit, wine poured, table set like it was a holiday. Alyssa was already there. She looked different. Not softer. Not sorry. Just worn down. Her clothes were wrinkled, her hair tied back with a cheap elastic. No makeup. No performance. Just the version of her no one ever saw. We sat. We ate. No one spoke. Then my dad started. Some rehearsed speech about forgiveness, unity, letting go. He kept looking at me like I was the problem he needed to fix. Then Alyssa jumped in. "I know I went too far," she said. "I was hurt. I lashed out." Sounded right. But it didn't feel real. Like she was reading lines she didn't believe. Then she added, "I've lost a lot. I'm asking for a little compassion. Not from him. From me." I looked at my mom. She shook her head, barely but enough. Then I looked at Alyssa. "You don't want compassion," I said. "You want access." The room went silent. My dad tried to step in, but I raised my hand. I told her I was done. No money. No housing. No references. If she wanted to rebuild, she'd have to do it without pulling me down with her. "I forgive you," I said. "But that doesn't mean you get to come back." She didn't argue. Didn't cry. Just nodded like she already expected it. Dinner ended with my dad walking me to the door. "You don't have to cut her off forever," he said. "You don't have to keep pretending she's still a child," I replied. He didn't answer. That was the last time I saw her. If you want a clean ending, that was it. A quiet dinner. Forced smiles. A family pretending things weren't already broken. But real life doesn't wrap up that neatly. For months later, another email from my dad. Subject, "Sunday dinner. Everyone's invited." No mention of Alyssa. But I knew. My mom texted too. "He says she's turning things around. Just come. You don't have to say anything." So I went. Not because I believed it. Because I wanted to see her, one last time, and know what was actually left. The house felt off. Too clean. Too controlled. Like my dad was trying to manufacture normal. Alyssa was already there. She looked smaller somehow. Quieter. Hair flat. Nails bare. A turtleneck that didn't match the weather. She didn't greet me. Just nodded. Dinner started polite. My dad filled the space, work, neighbors, football. My mom barely spoke. Halfway through he finally said it. She's trying. I stayed quiet. She's got a part-time job. Looking into certifications. Staying clean. Then he looked at me. It hasn't been easy. So I said nothing. That's when Alyssa spoke. I'm not asking for much, she said. The room froze. I just need a little help to stay on track. There was a lease. A studio apartment. She didn't need money, just a co-signer. Just my name. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. My silence said everything. But my dad leaned in anyway. If you want this family to heal, maybe this is the step. I looked at him. Then at her. Then at my mom. For the first time all night my mom spoke. She's already given more than anyone, she said. You don't get to keep asking her to pay for the healing. Alyssa flinched. Small. Quick. Bill. My dad leaned back frustrated. So we just let her fail again? Maybe failing is the only way she learns, my mom said. After that no one had anything left to say. When dinner ended I grabbed my coat. Alyssa followed me to the door. No drama. No tears. Just, this time, I really am trying. I met her eyes. Then try without me. She nodded. Like she already knew. As I stepped outside my dad called after me. She's still your sister. I didn't turn around. That's not always a good thing. And that was it. No explosion. No redemption arc. No perfect resolution. Just a pattern breaking. Slow, uneven, unfinished. I haven't heard from Alyssa since. And for the first time, I'm not waiting for the next move.